Card grading has been floating in the toilet for quite a while now, and Beckett may have just flushed it down the sewer. Find out in just a moment why. Welcome, everyone. Today is December 16th, 2025, and several outlets, including everyone's most trustworthy news source, the New York Times, has reporting that Beckett has been sold to Professional Sports Authenticator, PSA, to everyone ever, parents company collectors. Just a quick side note, when I was Googling the parent company of PSA, the Google search was showing it as Collectors Universe. However, none of the outlets are referring to it as that. So, for transparency's sake, we're going to stick with Collectors being the name of the company. This is huge news for the card collecting community, and it's going to give PSA even more of a stranglehold on an industry that they're already dominating in. According to the article, Beckett will continue its own operations, customer experience, and standards around grading marketplace, magazine, and price guide. The article also goes on to say that Beckett will continue to process orders as they previously would, with no change in pricing, according to the release by Collectors Company. This accusation just happened yesterday, so of course nothing's going to change immediately, including pricing or their daily operations for the time being. But don't think for a second that that will not change over time as time goes on. Me personally, I'm not a fan of card grading as a whole for the hobby. As long as my eyes are continuing to work the way I see it, I really don't need somebody telling me the condition that my card is in on one that I own or even a card that I am looking at to potentially purchase. And if you want that pretty slab look, it's very, very simple to do on your own, and you can definitely do it for a lot cheaper than $20. And that's before any upcharging would be put into place. My other issue with card grading as a whole is the consistency among all the companies. None of them have been consistent throughout the years. You can do a quick search right here on YouTube, find plenty of videos where people have received nines, eights, and nines, cracked the slab, sent the card back to the original grading company that they sent it to begin with, and then the card magically comes back as a 9 or a 10. Now, I do understand there is a human element to all of this, so humans do make mistakes, but this has even happened with Tag, who claims that all of their card grading is done with AI. And lastly, my issue, especially with PSA, is the upcharging itself. With Beckett being sold to them, I fully expect that at some point you will start seeing upcharges on cards that go to Beckett for grading as well. This business practice is something that just blows my mind. You wouldn't hire a landscaping company, for example. If a landscaping company came to your house, they're going to give you a quote, advise you of the services they're willing to provide. You either pay that price or you don't in the agreement upon the contract that they give to you. What that company is not going to do is look up land cost values or property values prior to coming to your home, provide a service given to you, and then if the service they give then makes the value of your property go up, that landscaping company is not going to come back and say, oh, property of your value's gone up, so we need a little bit of that money that you would get if you decide to sell that at some point because of the services we provided that helped the property value go up. But for whatever reason, thousands of people have happily accepted this as a standard business practice for PSA for many years now, and it just is one of those things I don't understand. The last part of this that I want to talk about is the timing of it all. PSA is recently being involved in a little bit of a scandal. If you aren't aware, they have been offering a buyback program for people who are submitting cards to them, where once they are graded and so on, before they send the card back to you, they will actually send an email out offering a purchase price for that card. In some cases, they've even offered up towards 90% of the fair market value for the purchase of some of these cards, and some of the owners have sold the cards back to PSA. The problem is that some people have discovered that the PSA is offering them the value on a 9 graded card. They accept the offer, they get paid, and then I don't know how many days, weeks, or months later, but those people have gone back. They've looked up the card online to see, see what it's doing, where it's been, things like that. You can look up the cert number, only to discover that the card is now magically graded as a 10. This happened to a online person not too long ago, and it caused a problem. PSA tried to finagle their way out of it by saying it was a mistake and so on and so forth. But have a really, really hard time believing that you don't purchase something, have something graded, and then suddenly it magically becomes something different. So that's the whole issue with the card grading. And with Beckett selling their company, it's going to create an end of an era. Now I understand Beckett is going to be around. The name isn't going anywhere, at least for the time being. Hopefully, for this foreseeable future, we will continue to see Beckett around as well. However, I don't believe that they'll continue to be the company that they have become and what they've grown to be, especially for a lot of us millennials. I grew up on Beckett. For a lot of you young folk viewers, if you're out there and you see this video, we've got to go all the way back to the 1900s when I was young myself. I was into card collecting a little bit. Now, being young and a child, I obviously didn't have a lot of money to create an expansive collection. But we had, before the internet, before eBay, before card pricing, all the places you can go to get comps on your cards, we had Beckett. And Beckett actually submitted out or published a monthly price guide magazine that you would have to go and purchase. And then when you got home with that magazine, you'd look through it, you'd look up your brand of card, the set that it was with, and then you could scroll, go through it, find the name of the player on the card, and it would give you a estimated value of what that card was worth. I remember going through those magazines several times, always hoping I would find a card even worth $5, because back then, being young, $5 was a lot of money to me. I don't recall that ever really happening. Probably the biggest card I bought or had as a kid was a Shaquille O'Neal rookie. Wish I still had that card today. Unfortunately, I don't. I lost most of my collection from when I was a child. But hey, you live, you learn. But Beckett, for me, seeing this company grow, basically from a monthly price guide magazine publisher, they turned into a media company, which they still have media and do media to this day. And then even transitioned into the 2000s into the card grading era and survived that as well. It's just kind of sad to see that they've decided to sell the company off to their competition. But what do you guys think? Do you think that the grading is good for the hobby? Do you think that there needs to be improvements? And if there are, what improvements do you guys suggest there should be? Or do you think, kind of like I do, that card grading needs to just go away as a whole? I am open to some improvements if it can be done. I just don't know if it can be done at a professional level to make it a truly legitimate thing for the hobby. But anyway, if you've made it this far, leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Also, for those of you that are a little bit older, do you guys remember the Beckett Price Guide magazines growing up? And did you use them or look through them and try to find some high price cards that you may have gotten as kids? Again, let me know down below. Also, if you enjoy this video, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button as well. And my name is MindLogic, and I will speak to you guys again soon.